In this video, my friends, I am going to share with you this woman's story, this tasker's story. How, as you guys heard in the title, they left their full-time job and started to work on Taskrabbit. I mean, it sounds like they left one place for another, but not quite. I mean, when you have that full-time job at IKEA, you have your schedule. You have to be there 5 days a week or 6 days a week or whatever it might be. You have to be there XYZ hours. You got your bosses. You got, the systems in place there. This individual left that. They left a established system where they know the reliability of having a job is intact. I mean, I'm sure IKEA gives all the employees benefits. You probably get healthcare, and maybe they have a retirement, a 401k. And despite that, she left there to do her own thing on Taskrabbit. This, my friends, is why I continue to create content focused on Taskrabbit, why I am about to roll out my first CRM designed specifically for you taskers, because it's what has helped me elevate my game beyond the minor league, so to speak, when it comes to where I stand today with Taskrabbit and just being, self-employed in general compared to where I was 4 years ago. And maybe 4 years ago is pushing it, because it was about 4 years ago in a month today that I was let go from my previous job. I was a director of sales. I worked my way up to a director of sales position, and I was able to, it was literally the week of Thanksgiving, and I remember it so well because of just the timing and the opportunity that I had just, that had presented itself, where I was able to close a deal with a kind of like a smaller team, a local branch or team of company that all of you guys, anyone watching this, listening, knows this company. It rhymes with noodle. Maybe you found this video by looking on that site, how to make money, side hustle, how to make money, how to leave my 9 to 5. I don't know what I'm going to title this video yet, but so I basically signed that company, that team, that division, whatever you want to call it, to a contract. It was, again, the week of Thanksgiving. So it was kind of like, congratulations, nice work, happy Thanksgiving. And by the way, we need to let you go. They never, filled my role. It was them kind of downsizing and moved a lot of the director of sales responsibilities over to the customer success manager, and also, the new kind of, I think there was like a sales support, customer support role that they had brought on like a month before I was let go. And ultimately, it was one of those experiences where, I was quickly thrown back into the self-employed environment, and I've been in that world before, kind of intentionally and on my own in the past, but this time around, I wasn't planning for it. So it kind of caught me off guard, but not really, because I was expecting it to some extent. And, the company has since, they sold, probably got quite a bit of money. Kudos to the team over there that was there at the end. I know they just kind of continued to get smaller and smaller until that point. So it wasn't as if I was doing a horrible job. It was kind of just like, they were focused on, which was getting acquired and whatnot. We can go about without your role, essentially, and help us probably save money by not having to pay me, and still being able to maybe not get as many sales, but get a lot of the key sales they needed done to still get acquired and whatnot, or at least get on that radar. So I say all of that because this individual left her full-time job. I did not leave my job, and it was kind of something that Taskrabbit was there. And at that point I said, the company I was working for was a company I wanted to work for. I was selling a product that I believed in. It was interactive video software, which was really cool. Working in the SaaS industry is good money. It's cool if you're working with a product that you actually appreciate and that you enjoy, using yourself, and that you can see value in. That collective combination was what I wanted to do. I enjoyed it, but just, the stars didn't align for that particular opportunity at that moment in time, and it is what it is. So I was thrown into the fire, essentially. Going into 2019, it just, I wasn't really planning for what was to come, but I had already signed up with Taskrabbit a year earlier, but I just hadn't put my account in use. It was critical for me to just jump into it head first and start to make this money when I can make this money. And that's exactly what this woman says right here. I put 7 days a week availability because there's really no telling how much work I'll get. And even today to some extent, you're pretty much going to see that on my calendar as an elite tasker who's been on the platform since the same time. Pretty much been finding work on Taskrabbit in Phoenix area since 2018. For me, it was end of 2018 as well. So let's jump into Christina's story. Christina Perus is a 38-year-old who has been finding work on Taskrabbit in the Phoenix area since 2018. This is what the experience has been like in Christina's own words. I started working for IKEA in 2016, and then IKEA bought a majority stake in Taskrabbit in 2017. I had been actually signed up with Taskrabbit to receive emails alerting when they came to the Phoenix metro area. They were in the Bay Area and in New York City and larger metro areas. When IKEA bought them, they brought Taskrabbit to every area where there was an IKEA. And because I was working for IKEA, I was like, ooh, this sounds like it could be fun. Now I do it full time. I transitioned from IKEA in 2020 to full-time Taskrabbit. I usually set my availability from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m. and there's always flexibility for me to make things earlier or later as I want to, but those are my primary work hours. I put 7 days a week availability because there's really no telling how much work I'll get. I don't really preclude myself from work on a specific day, but I always end up taking plenty of time off because of the way tasks work themselves out schedule-wise. I'm relatively busy consistently. There have been a couple of months where it was slow, but I think it ebbs and flows with the seasons and the way that people spend money. Back to school is very busy, but then the summertime is not so busy until back to school starts because I do a lot of TV mounting and putting things on walls. I do a lot of work for college students that are moving into their apartments and hanging their TVs on the walls and painting an accent wall or whatever. I'm making way more. To be fair, I also have to pay for my own health care and everything else. So it does balance out, I guess. But I still have the opportunity to work as much as I want, as opposed to only being scheduled for a 40-hour work week with no opportunity to make overtime. I would prefer to work like this indefinitely because it gives me the freedom to do whatever I like to do in terms of vacation and stuff like that. But also, I have a teenager that just went into high school, and it gives me availability for her. When I first left IKEA, I was terrified. Like, what if I don't get hired? What if I don't have any work ever? I was surprised at how consistently I've been able to get work. My friends, there are a few different things in here that I love about this story, and it ultimately comes down to the fact that, again, she left her full-time job to do Taskrabbit full-time. Now, there are so many people out there who are miserable, who have jobs that they just hate. And I'm not necessarily saying to leave your full-time job and jump into Taskrabbit full-time, but you can keep your full-time job and start to do Taskrabbit part-time. You can dabble with it, build up your profile, watch a lot of my other content. I have a course, free course, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, putting yourself in a position where you can get experience on the platform, building it up while you have your job, I think is, if it's an option, is the way to go. I understand you might be tired, you might have other responsibilities, so leaving your full-time job and then trying to do this Taskrabbit while you also have, a daughter that you're trying to raise and potentially other responsibilities, that it might be too much for some people. So I completely get it. But I do suggest if you are not happy with where you're at in terms of what you're doing with your current full-time job and I guess how much money you're making, then this might be the alternative option. Now, of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I used to do software sales, making pretty good money. So depending on the strategy and the services you provide, you're probably, most likely, most people probably aren't going to make more money on Taskrabbit than they do leaving, in the corporate world when it comes to software sales. most, not everyone. I worked my way up to a director of sales position. So that said, if I was providing services, some like plumbing or electrical or just some of the more certified based services on Taskrabbit, I think that would potentially change the game. But still, as someone, I'm doing some of the services she provided, and she's doing things I'm not providing, and I know I've done pretty well. And again, a lot of it is because of your willingness to kind of just keep your availability open all the time. As she mentioned, like, you sometimes aren't really aware of, or not sometimes, you just never know, the ebbs and flows of the industries. And I can't say that that's not true. I do know the ebbs and flows of the industries for the services I provide because I have my CRM. So I know for me, like she mentioned some months in here that I was like, whoa, that's not true at all for me. I'm relatively busy consistently. That's true. And if I lower my rates, I can increase how much more busy or less, or if I increase my rates, that's going to have an impact on how busy I'll be. Even in the slow time of the year, I'm pretty sure if I lowered my rates much more than where they currently are, I can increase how much more busy I will get. Of course, there probably will be a peak. There will be a limit. But all of that said, she said, but I think it ebbs and flows with the seasons, the way that people spend money. Back to school is very busy, but then the summertime is not so busy until back to school starts. Now, I agree, back to school is very busy. And then she said, but then the summertime is not so busy. For me, the summertime is definitely busy and it doesn't slow down. Now, again, maybe it's a location thing as well, but the combination of the seasonality component with location, with the services that I provide, I don't know if she does yard work or anything like that. Either way, the point is, you can see that there are so many, people out there who are joining the gig economy, some intentionally, where you may have followed a path similar to mine and seeing the way the economy is. A lot of people are getting let go, or you just might not be happy with your job and you want something more. You want some kind of flexibility, some kind of freedom to create your own schedule and kind of control how much money you make, determine, again, like, what you want to do. There are tons of different services that you can provide on Taskrabbit. If you don't want to do mounting, which is mounting TVs is something that she does, like, you don't have to do that. You can do cleaning, you can do data entry, there's so many different things. Now, some services definitely do have a higher demand than others. And again, I have a lot more content that dives into those topics and subjects. If you are interested, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. And of course, consider checking out the free Taskrabbit course down below. And while you're down there, like I said, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment down below with your thoughts or any suggestions that you guys have on this video, but any other upcoming topics and things that you guys are interested in hearing about when it comes to the gig economy and especially making money on Taskrabbit. All right, my friends, I got to keep it moving, but check out this video next if you want to keep it moving with me.